Hello everybody, Coach Larry coming at you live from the pool Sunday night. I hope you have had a great weekend and week. For those of you swimmers out there, I have a very special topic for you tonight. Remain calm, all is well. So, we'll be getting to that in just a minute. I want to start out by giving a couple shout outs for some people who've been doing some really great swimming lately. First of all, I want to give a shout out to all the swimmers here in Charlotte, North Carolina, who were at the BC Champs meet this weekend. BC Champs is one of those meets that encompasses and just typifies the pure excitement of swimming as a sport. Enthusiasm, competition, trying to raise up to the next level and perform at that next level. Really cool meet. And so any of you who are out there who swam in that meet this weekend, congratulations, really great job. Also want to give a shout out to all the swimmers who came out to one-to-one sessions this week. We had Lawson and Jessica and Kylie and MG, also known as Mary Grace. We had Neely and McKenna and Michael. We had Smiley Riley, Cole, and Paige. And then we had three new swimmers come for their first one-to-one sessions this week. And those were Grayson and Lane and Emily. So welcome aboard, you guys. Great job by everybody. We went over some really important items this week, especially related to items that are connected to this end of season time where we are currently in. We have currently entered championship season. So working on things like strategies, sharpness around turns and walls and starts and underwaters. So really nice job by everybody who came out this week. So let's get to the topic at hand. Remain calm, all is well. Now what is this relating to? Well, it's relating to this time of year that we're in, which is championship season. And when championship season is upon us, taper is near. Either taper is near or taper is here. And for many of you, taper is here. Some of you have your championship meet next weekend. Others, 2 weekends from now, maybe 3 weekends from now. But chances are, most of you, if not all of you, are in the midst of this wonderful thing called taper. And at this time, usually there are mixed feelings, mixed emotions. So that's what we're going to dive into tonight, because I want to tell you how to have a successful taper period, some pitfalls to avoid, and some items to embrace. So let's get started. First of all, the first question that comes to mind is, what is taper? Now, for some of you, this may be complete review. Others, it may be familiar. Others, totally new. So, here we go. What is taper? Well, taper is different depending upon who you ask. So, if you ask a swimmer, first of all, you go up to an age group swimmer or a collegiate swimmer and you say, what is taper? The answer is going to be very different than the answer you might get from coaches or parents. So for swimmers, and those of you who are swimmers out there, you know this. Taper is that time when it's like the angels start singing and the skies open and behold, down come all of these really easy practices. And it's like, wow, I have been waiting since late August for this time. And practices are easy, they're shorter, and it's just, wow, this is amazing. It's time for easy practices. Easy peasy, right? Well, maybe so. Now, if you ask the parents, you could ask a parent, what is taper? The parents normally aren't quite as thrilled as the swimmer, because the parents often wonder, what happened to my child? This is not my child. This child who normally comes home and is moaning and groaning about how hard practice was and how coach yelled at me and my muscles are so sore and dry land was brutal and I can barely walk. All of a sudden, this child has transformed into a highly energetic, bouncing off the wall kid who seems to have a more positive attitude than they normally have. And the parents are left scratching their head saying, this is not my kid. Somebody cloned my kid, and this is somebody new. So parents aren't often quite sure what to make of taper. They just know that their kids aren't quite the same as they normally are. But if you ask a coach, you say, "Coach, what is taper?" Here's the answer that you'll typically get. Taper is a period of time leading up to championship meets during which the coach is preparing the swimmer for maximum performance, for maximum achievement, to meet the goals that they set back in the early part of the season. It's a period of time where it's all about preparation and honing skills. So if you ask the swimmer, it's euphoric. If you ask the parent, it's kind of a head scratcher. If you ask the coach, it's preparation. So I'm going to come at this tonight from all three of those angles, with most of the focus being on the coach. And the coach is going to say, remain calm, all is well. Here we go. So when you get to taper time, here's the question. What really changes during practice, during taper? It's not all easy stuff, but there are three main things that change during taper. The first thing that changes is the intensity. The intensity of the practice sets, the intensity of the practice as a whole. Typically, the intensity declines. The closer and closer you get to the date of your championship meet, intensity tends to wane. There are still some fast swims in there, but they become less and less, fewer and fewer. So the intensity drops, and the swimmers think, now I like this. This is very cool. Another thing that changes is the overall distance that is swum during the race, during the practice. Normally, if you're accustomed to 4,000 or 5,000 or 6,000 yards in a given practice, that's going to be slowly dialed down as you get closer and closer to the championship meet. So if you're accustomed to doing 6,000 yards, all of a sudden you might be swimming 4,500 yards. And then a few days later, you might be swimming 3,500 and then 3,000. And you're thinking, this is really cool. It's not as intense. It's not as long from a distance standpoint. And number three, the duration. The duration of practice is normally reduced. So if you're accustomed to swimming 2 hours on a given night, you might be swimming 90 minutes instead. Or that may go down to 75 minutes and even 60 minutes for a couple days leading up to your championship meet. So as you can imagine, a swimmer who started back in August, who's been pounded all season long, walking around sore, exhausted, they're sick of hearing their coaches yell at them during practice and let's go faster and streamline better and all these things. Finally, the intensity and the distance and the duration are all going down. So what happens? What is the result of all of this? Well, the result is a lot of changes take place. And a lot of changes take place for the swimmer. And this is kind of where the title comes from of all is well, remain calm, all is well. Because what starts to happen is there are some physiological changes that take place in the swimmer. There are some mental changes that take place in the swimmer. Sometimes it's euphoric, sometimes it's worrisome. But the bottom line is we need to make sure that we just remain calm because everything's going to be okay. All will be well. So I want to help you navigate the do's and don'ts of taper time, because it's really important as you start to go through these changes. It's important that you keep your eye on the ball, that you stay focused on the task at hand. So here's a good list of do's and don'ts. For some of you, again, this may be review, for some brand new, but I'm going to start over here in the don't column. The number one thing, don't panic. Now here's what happens sometimes. I would say this especially happens with swimmers who are 13 years old and older, okay? 12 and unders, typically they're good, right? But 13 and over, sometimes panic can set in, and here's why. Because we start to worry about, well, what if I don't taper enough? Or What if I taper too much? What if I'm too rested? Or I don't feel good in the water. Something's wrong. Coach, something's wrong. Everything's going wrong. And so all of a sudden you have some physiological and some mental changes that are going on, and the important thing is to not panic. Okay? I remember specifically when I was a teenager, and also just in recent years, swimming and getting ready for some Masters National meets, that there are times during taper when you will get into practice and you will feel horrible. You know, it's like a week before the meet and your muscles kind of feel weird, or your catch feels off, or your kick feels funny. That's normal. Please hear me. That is very, very normal. Here's why. Because your body is going through changes. You're accustomed to getting pounded on a daily basis, and now your body is getting relief, and it's going to go through some change, and it's going to feel a little bit different. Different isn't bad. Okay? Different is okay, because what's happening is your body is preparing. It's getting refreshed. It's getting ready for competition. So don't panic. Don't worry. Instead, trust. Okay? We're not going to panic. We're going to trust. Trust, first of all, most of all, trust your coach. Okay? You've got, and if you're worried, if you start to get panicky, talk to your coach. Communication is key. Trust your coach. He or she knows what he or she is doing. Okay? Secondly, trust your training. You've put in the work. You've put in the time. You haven't been investing all this time and effort since late August for nothing. So, it's okay. Trust your training. Trust your coach. Trust the process. People have been through this hundreds and thousands of times before. So, you will be just fine. Okay? It's okay. And you can also trust yourself, understanding that you know that you've been through this process before, and most likely it's turned out pretty good. So, trust yourself, trust your process, trust your coach, trust your training. Okay? Trust. Don't panic. All is well. All right. Another thing that we don't want to do, we don't want to try to cram. Okay? No cramming. This is not a final exam, guys. This is not an all-nighter. This is not the time when you go out and you say, you know what? I don't know if I've gotten enough practices in. Hey, Mom, can you take me to the YMCA so I can get a few extra 1,000 yards in? Nope. Don't cram. That's not how this thing works. Okay? The work is done. The hay is in the barn, as they say. Right? Now it's time to take whatever you've done, whatever amount of work you've done over the season, it's time to back off and start lowering the intensity, lower the duration, lower the distance, and prepare for competition. Okay? So no cramming. All you need to do is stay the course. Okay? Stay the course. Keep going. Do the practices that are given to you. Don't drop your pen. Stay the course. You're good. Your coach has a plan. Follow that plan. And if you don't understand the plan, there's nothing wrong with asking. Right, coaches? Coaches love questions. So, ask your coach questions, but don't try to cram for the exam. Next thing, no new diets. Okay, sometimes people get close to their championship meet and they're like, oh no, I had Fun Dip and Kit Kats the other night. I better go out and I better get on the whatever beach diet, or the caveman diet, or whatever new fad diet, so I can be super lean and do not change your diet, guys. Be healthy, yes. Don't cram in extra candy and stuff, but please don't go on a new diet, because what happens to the body when you go on a new diet? It changes. It reacts, and often it kind of goes into a mode of what the heck is this? And you won't be benefiting from that. So instead, just keep your normal diet. Nobody has a perfect diet, guys. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want to introduce brand new changes to your diet, because your body will not like it. And we want our body to like what's going on, so stay normal. Okay? Stay normal with your diet. Stay the course. Trust. These are all really, really good items to focus on during your taper time. Even if you're feeling bad, don't worry. Don't worry. Also, don't become a night owl. You're going to have a lot of extra energy. Because your coach is not pounding you to death on a daily basis, you're going to end up feeling like bouncing off the walls. You're going to feel like going out and running around the house. I remember I used to coach a couple of boys. They were like 14 years old, and they were so full of energy. They'd come into practice, and they'd be like, okay, this is great. And they'd be all sweaty. I'd say, where have you guys been? They were like, oh, we were running around the building. Okay, don't run around the building. Okay? Rest. Okay? We do not want to be, and we don't want to stay up late. We don't want to become night owls and say, hey, I've got all this energy, I can stay up all night. You need to rest. Okay? We need to rest. Make sure you go to bed at your normal hour. Maybe a little earlier. Don't start going to bed, though, at like 7:30 at night. Okay? And you'll wake up at 3 in the morning going, where am I? What's going on? So, don't become a night owl. Just try to get your rest and be normal. Again, what's the message here? Remain calm. All is well. Be normal. No major changes. Also, don't wing it when it comes to your meet preparation and your strategies. Okay? Don't say, well, I'm just going to show up in the meet and see what happens. No. If you started on a journey, watch last week's Facebook Live talking about charting your course. You don't want to just head for Florida. Hey, I want to go to Fort Myers. You don't just turn and go south, right? You got to get a map. You got to have a plan. So don't wing it. What you want to do is you want to rehearse and review. Rehearse your strategies, both mentally and in the water. Go over your strategies with your coach. Then think through your races. Put yourself mentally behind the block and start thinking about, okay, I'm behind the block. How am I going to swim this 400 IM? How am I going to swim this 200 breaststroke? What am I going to do on my first lap of the 100 butterfly? What are my turns going to look like? How many underwaters am I going to hit? How am I going to finish? What are these things that I'm going to be thinking about so that you can mentally rehearse? Because dress rehearsals are so important so that you're ready for performance day. So don't wing it. Don't just say, gee, I hope everything goes well. Here goes. Cross my fingers, hope to die. No. Rehearse and review. Rehearse your races, review your strategies, and review your goals. Great time to review your goals. Okay? All right. Also, last thing, distraction and drama. And this is more about calm leadership. I want to encourage calm leadership instead of distraction and drama. Listen, if you're starting to freak out and you feel like, okay, my breaststroke kick is off, my freestyle arms feel weird, my lats are really sore. You might even get sore during taper. Even though you're not working hard, your muscles may get sore. Don't worry. Don't be a distraction to your teammate. Don't cause drama. Okay, don't go to your teammates and go, this is all wrong. I don't think coach knows what he's talking about. I don't think she's very good at tapering. Do not sabotage your group. Do not sabotage your team, your best friend who's in your lane. Please don't do it. Okay? Your group doesn't need it, your coach doesn't want it, and you don't need it because you're just going to create distraction and drama. How is that going to help anybody? It's not. Instead, you need to provide calm leadership. Remain calm. If you don't feel good, say, you know what? Hey, you know what? I watched that Facebook Live guy who said it's normal not to feel very good sometimes during taper. It's normal to feel a little bit off. It's normal to be bouncing off the wall, right? So, provide calm leadership. Remain calm. Be positive during practice. If someone else in your group has hit the panic button and they're freaking out, you can step in and say, you know what? It's going to be okay. All is well. Just remain calm. Provide that calm leadership. Your friend who's panicking will appreciate it. Your coach, believe me, will appreciate it. Calm leadership is so important during taper time because, again, so many things change because of the changes that are going on in your body, in your mind. You got to just stay the course. Trust your training, trust your coach, trust yourself. Stay the course, okay? No panic, no cramming, just stay the course. Keep your diet normal, no new fad diets. Rest, don't become a night owl. Rehearse and review your strategies, your goals. Talk to your coach, review these things. Don't just show up on deck, okay, and wing it and say, hey coach, it's 2 minutes before the 200 butterfly. How do I do it? Nope. You need to talk about that now, okay? Talk about it now, calmly, cool, calm, collected. You're good. And then provide calm leadership instead of distraction and drama. Don't invite drama into your life. Don't introduce drama into other people's lives. Just remain calm because all will be well. Taper time is great, guys. It's that time of preparation leading up to that final meet. Look, you've done so much work. You've put in so much time and energy. Your parents have put in time and energy and money and mileage on the cars, okay? They've listened to you groan and moan and complain after practices. And you know what? They've been there to support you. You've been through a lot. Now it's time to say, you know what? It's time. I've made these investments, and now it's time to go and make a withdrawal. You know, you put money in the bank day after day after day after day. You make these investments. Well, now it's time to pull that money out and spend it. And you're going to spend it at your race, at your championship meet. Get out there and have a blast. Race fast. Have fun. Encourage your teammates. Cheer for your teammates. Ask your coach if there's anything you can do to help him or her have, you know, more focus in the group. And the bottom line is, remember to race. Race hard. Race tough. Be sharp. And have a blast. Okay? If there's anything we can do, answer any questions, you can always shoot us a question underneath this, underneath our Facebook Live post. You can always go to our website at iswim1to1.com and send us a message. We'll be happy to help in any way we can. All right? So I want to wish you all the best. Coaches out there, have a great taper time preparing your swimmers. Swimmers, do your best to remain calm and stay focused. And parents, I promise you that's still your child. They just have a little more energy than normal. So have a great time. Have a great championship season. Best wishes, and we'll see you next week. See you guys.